Welcome to the official podcast for Badin and the Secret of the Saami. On this show, we talk about all things relating to the revolutionary historical fiction graphic novel, Badin and the Secret of the Saami. Have you read this book? If so, author-illustrator Eric wants to talk to you. Contact us through the Badin and the Secret of the Saami website, www.badinsecret.com. That's BADINSECRET.com. Support the October book tour in Sweden. Eric needs to raise $14,000 to order books and pay for travel expenses throughout the entire month. Every contribution will get you a free digital PDF of Badin and the Secret of the Saami. For more information and to see other rewards, go to www.gofundme.com/BadinSecret, BADINSECRET. This is the second of many podcasts featuring the readers of my historical fiction graphic novel, Badin and the Secret of the Saami. In these podcasts, I interview them about their experiences living in the country of Sweden. In the graphic novel, the historical Badin had to live with being quite different from other white Swedes. But that was in the 1700s. What about today in modern Sweden? Like Badin, what is it like for a black person born in Africa to suddenly need to live in Northern Europe? So it was for Imma. In the first podcast, she talked about her experiences and the frustration of being a Swedish citizen, but not accepted as such by many white Swedes. Imma was so gracious with her time and told me so much that I could not cram it into one podcast. I did not want to take a chance that listeners would miss anything she said. So please, listen carefully and learn.
Simple as that. I love to hear my voice. I know that. It's because I'm so damn smart. And I know how the situation is going to treat me if I put myself in it. Mm-hmm. That's why I choose to keep my mouth shut. It's not going to help me. Mm-hmm. But then let someone else talk. And nothing will come out of them. So Swedes are I know a lot of Swedish people. I have a lot of Swedish friends. But I would never trust a Swedish friend to defend me when hard comes to hard. Because I know that they have to look care of themselves first before they take care of me. Mm. And that's really sad. I'm sorry.
And to take care of them, what would they need to take care of themselves instead of taking care of you as a friend? I mean, what do they have to lose?
I have no idea. I have a friend who experienced the same thing. I mean, she did tell me this. She actually put it on Facebook. She said, "This happened to me. How would you react?" She's the only party at this place. I think there are 10 people. She's the only person who's African. And then they start discussing stuff. And they start getting into political areas, speaking about foreigners, newly arrived and so on and so forth. And suddenly there's discussions that she feels are becoming too racist. And she said, well, I didn't know all of them. I just knew 2 friends who were, I was together with quite well. And then I've known of the other persons. And then there were a few that I've never met, but I've heard of, and so on and so on. Suddenly people start talking this way. And you know what? I feel that I need to protect myself. I need to defend people that I feel belong to me. So she starts defending them. And suddenly her friends are gone. Mm-hmm. She's like, excuse me, where did you go to? And they're like looking up and they're, oh, sorry, what did you say? We didn't hear you. Oh, no, I need to go to the toilet. I need to do. And she's like, what the fuck? You didn't defend me? And you know that I'm a honest person? This is not happening. And she asked us, and I said, you know what, drop them. Because you don't need that kind of friendship.
So, and this is very powerful, and I really thank you for being so frank with me and allowing me to to do this. And, you know, again, this is part of generating interest in my upcoming tour in Sweden. And I want people to look at Badin. He's 18th century. He's 200 years old. But also look at modern blacks in Sweden, you know, and others as well. Other non-white Swedes who struggle, you know, and sacrifice and contribute to the society, whether, you know, they are trying to or not. What you are doing is important for the society. So what you're sharing what I'm hoping also that it may inspire others, you know, to speak up, to do the right thing, and some maybe not speak up, because there's times, like you've said, that you don't speak up. It's better not to, because you got to survive, you know.
Yeah, of course.
And you can't fight every single battle, you know. You'll just be exhausted, you know, and like you said, you have to wake up in the morning.
Yeah, and I have to leave my house.
And leave your house.
It's just, it's just the thing is that there are a few, I mean, there are good Swedish people. There is a lot of good Swedish honest people, but right now, those people are disappearing because there's a lot of hate. There's more people coming out showing who they really are, because they feel injustice. They feel that they haven't been able to make progression as they have wished to. I have discussions every day on the issues of the newly arrived. Why are they coming to Sweden? Why can't the rest of the world take them? I said, because that's just the way it is. Let's help them instead of just sitting here and talking about they're coming to take my benefits. They're coming to take my sick, blah, blah, blah. They're coming to do this. And I say, you know what? If I didn't have to be here, I wouldn't be here. And if I can, I will be leaving because I do not feel welcome. Who do you think leaves their country on free will and comes to Sweden? For what?
That's what I tell people about Mexicans. You know, they complain about the Mexicans coming, right? They don't want to. Who wants to leave home? No one wants to leave home.
Yeah. And I say that, you know what, do you want to help people to stay in their countries? Go talk to your government. Tell them to stop selling weapons and guns.
That's right.
And they will have to talk to the other countries and stop selling weapons and guns. And when they stop selling weapons and guns, you'll see people stop coming here because there's nothing here to get. Everyone wants to survive. If they have kids, if they have families, if they have wives, they want to see their people grow. No one sits on a boat, on a ringly-dingly, on the Mediterranean and hopes to survive on free will.
That's right.
And you cannot get through to them. And I feel, you know what, I need to leave this country because I'm becoming crazy.
Well,
and that's seriously.
You know, when I was there, I was so depressed, you know. I was there, 2 weeks? That was 2 weeks. I'm like, man, I want to go back home and get my basement. To hell with this place. These white people can have their party in their country. I don't want it. And, you know, I could do that, right? I could do that. And when I was in Motala, and this was the basis of the children's book I wrote, Motala Svenska Flicka. And I met this little, we were in a parade, and it was on the TV show, and they gave us all Swedish flags. And I'm holding this flag, and I'm like, all the other people, all the other Americans, they wanted to keep their flag. And I was like, yeah, well, and I saw this little Muslim girl, her parents, they looked like, they kind of resembled East African. And they had their nice blue and purple hijab and dress, and they were watching the parade by themselves, eating ice cream, glass. They were having glass, and I saw her, and I greeted them, assalamu alaikum,
Mm.
You know, I'm a Muslim, you know, and so I just wanted to greet them. And I gave that little
Mm.
girl my flag because I told myself, you know what? I'm getting the hell out of here any day now. But she is stuck here. Most likely.
Yeah.
Most likely.
Yeah. Of course.
I can't imagine her parents wanting to leave right
Mm.
now, you know, and maybe not
Mhm.
her,
Mhm.
you know. And I could just
Mm.
imagine the
Mm.
bullying she puts up with and the life that
Mm.
she puts up with. And I said,
Mm.
let me try to help her. And
Mm.
I watched all those, you know, white folks in the parade on Sveriges
Mm.
National Dag, the Swedish National Day.
Mm.
I said, man, this is your opportunity
Mm.
to help the people who are newly arrived or even been here a while but aren't white
Mm.
to feel like they're a part of this country. And they
Mm.
just walk right past them.
Mhm.
They could have pulled them in the parade. They would have blended in perfectly because the people in the parade were wearing traditional Swedish clothing. So all the women, their head was
Yeah.
covered. So
Mm.
you would have Muslims. The Muslims would fit in just fine.
Yeah.
You see the common ground that I'm
Yeah.
seeing here. So I
Mm.
wrote a book about it, and I said, let me just do it, you know. But the point of
Mm.
my
Yeah.
telling you this is that your pain that you express,
Mm.
I'm not gonna say I know exactly how you feel, because you know you
Mm.
got 30 years, I got a couple weeks, but
Yeah, I
I
know.
took that pain and I turned
Mm.
it around and made these books, you know, and I'm hoping that
Mm.
my
Mm.
book, as you're reading it
Mm.
and as you finish it,
Mm.
it might give you a little hope, a little inspiration, you know.
Mm. Do you know what is killing my hope? It's the killings of blacks in America.
Say what? Say what? Say that
The
again.
only thing that is killing my hope is the killings of all the black people in America by the police.
Really?
Because, I'm thinking, seriously, I'm hoping that one day I'll move to America. At least I'll feel free before I die. And now you're telling me that killing blacks again? Where the hell am I going to end up? Where am I going to die? Because I cannot see myself dying in this country.
Mm.
I cannot
In
see myself
Sweden,
living
in
in this
Sweden.
country.
You're
Yes,
saying in
in
Sweden.
Sweden.
And when you say
Yes.
die, you
Because,
mean grow old and die, you mean.
yes, I mean grow old and die because
Mm.
I am 40. I cannot see any progress with the new political, developments or proceedings where a political party that hates foreigners is getting ahead of whatever
Mm-hmm.
a normal political party is. And people say, you know what, I'm voting for them because they say they're going to ask all the foreigners to move out. And that's why I'm going to vote for them.
And did
Mm-hmm.
another party,
They're sending all the...
party join with them
Oh,
recently?
yeah.
What was it, the moderates?
The conservative. Yeah, the conservative party.
What,
I don't know what they call them. Conservative, yeah.
that's Centrum? What do they call that in Swedish?
Moderaterna.
Okay, Moderaterna. In the Sverige Demokraterna, SD.
Mm.
They're joining, right?
Yes.
They have like a coalition or something.
Yeah, they have a coalition and they're trying to, it's just, I don't understand all of this because
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to live in Sweden. It just so happened I ended up here because my country was in war. It was at war and we needed to leave the country. If we did not have all this bickering and idiot and all this men, this male African male idiots trying to take over everything because they want to be able to buy gold and eat gold and poo gold, I wouldn't be here today. Seriously.
Yeah.
And, I am really, really angry with the world because I cannot, it's that I sit and think about Socrates and what discussions they had when they're sitting under the trees. They had visions. Today we are controlled by money, banks, and male dominance. And we are, how many years have passed? This is 2017, okay? And this is how far we've gotten. We are still discussing which race is superior or which race is inferior, which race is the best, which is not the best, which we should get rid of. 2017. We haven't gotten so far. And I'm thinking that I have brought 3 boys to this world, and I will die and leave them to rotten in this shit. I'm sorry. I do not feel happy. I feel that we need to fall before we rise again. And the next time we rise, we need to think about the things we've been through. Because this is just not happening. I don't know. I can't feel myself at home in a country where I've grown up in. Because I don't feel that I can do the things I want to do and feel free to do it. And if I do something that I feel is right for me, I might end up in prison because I'm black and I shouldn't have done it. And I might be punished extra hard because I'm black.
Something that feels right. Something that feels right to you, being put in. If you do something that feels right to you, being punished, put in jail. What do you mean by that?
Let's say, for example, if I start a protest and it increases and something happens and I'm to be blamed because I started a protest, because I don't like the way they're treating me as a black woman in this country, I would be questioned. I would be blacklisted. I would be a persona non grata because I am a person that speaks too much, thinks too much, and have too many opinions.
Now, wait a minute. Now, Sweden prides itself on free speech. You know, you can make cartoons of Prophet Muhammad and slander people. But you feel you feel that if you just do a peaceful protest that you might never be able to get a good job again.
Oh yeah, that's for true. I mean, listen, I have friends. I have friends who told me, you know what, Imma, you are too political. You need to chill down and don't be heard too much, because that is damaging your profile.
Well, now you scaring me. Now you make me not want to. Now you make me not want to publish this interview. I don't want to get you in trouble.
It's okay. I've already said a lot of stuff. I think I'm not allowed to go to China, so it's okay.
Okay.
You know, it's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
I've already said a lot of stuff in an interview, and then I realized, wait a minute, did you say you're from China?
Okay.
And you're going to publish my name in a Chinese?
Wow.
Anyway.
But continue. Yeah, sorry.
It is true, because I know that I have a lot of opinions, because I am environmental. I do not believe in 8 hours work as some people do, because they think that work is life. And I say, I'm sorry, I don't believe that work is life. Life is when you have time to be with your family and the people you love. Everything else is just a waste of time and space. You work to survive. I do not need work to survive. I need friend and love to survive. And the capitalism we are living in today is taking away the will to live.
Yes.
And because you are taught to think in a certain way and behave in a certain way and say stuff in the correct way, that doesn't mean it's right. And when I open my mouth and ask you, why are you doing this? You can't answer me. You're just repeating the answer that someone else has given you. That's the difference between you and me. I refuse to accept the things that you find is reality. And you do not want to listen to me because I speak to extreme thoughts. And you call me to be a radical, left-winger. I say, but excuse me, how many kids did you bring to this world? You have 3 kids, right? Yeah, good. So when you were having them, did you plan for the first one to say, well, I want you to work hard and work hard until you die. That's why I'm bringing you to this world. And then when you have the second child, you say, I want you to work even harder than the first one until you die. And then when you're having your third child, say, you know what, you can die now because there won't be any more work for you. Were you thinking that way? No, because you were thinking that, this is going to be so nice. This is life, and this is wonderful, and this is my love, and I want to spend as much time with him as I can. Did you think about that? No. So why don't you ask yourself, why can't I spend more time with my kids, get to know them, raise them up to be proper adults, and then look at them and see them flourish and grow and become the wonderful thing that you want them to be? Because you will not have time to do that. You need to work 40 years of your 75 years life. And the best thing is for you to die as soon as you get your retirement. That's like the best gift you can give this government. And if I say something, they'll say, but you're so extreme. Well, how do you think? I love my job. And I say, you really love your job? So you love why do you want to go vacation for 5 weeks every year then? And then I'm just saying, I'm just asking. And the thing is that if I say that as an African woman, I like to question everyone. I say, it's fantastic. You work, you do this, and wow, that's nice, huh? I say, well, you know what? I would like to work with you as well. Do you think there's any job for me? And then they go quiet. Like, no, I don't think so. No.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, but seriously, it sounds really nice. I would like to come and, work for you guys. Yeah, no. Well, we don't have any more space. It's like, well, what's the company name? I could just send my CV and, yeah, I'll get back to you on that. No, I don't know. We'll see.
Wow.
And that's just the way it is. And I know because I have best friends, foreigners, who tell me, stop talking, behave differently because you are too frightening. You frighten people. I said, how can I frighten people when I'm just the way I am? This is the way I was brought up.
Yeah, I know exactly
this is the person I have become.
Exactly how you feel.
I can't. Seriously. And so depression. That's what I am living in. Depression. Yeah.
Oh, so you're really struggling just to keep the balance in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In yourself. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because
it's really tough. It's really tough.
It is.
And as an interpreter, I work a lot with a lot of people. I meet people from all over the world, and that makes my day. Every time I meet someone, I'm like, oh, that was a fantastic meeting. Wow, she was such a wonderful. Oh, he was. Wow, And then I ask, I seriously look at them and tell, what the hell are you doing here? What are you doing in this country? With that formal education of yours, with your brain, with your abilities, you're going to die here. You're going to virtually crumble and die slowly until you do not have any will to live. Because you can go in any other country and in a few years you flourish.
Now, in the United States, Americans believe it is their right to practically go bankrupt paying for insurance and college. I'm not exaggerating.
I know. I'm following your debates. I'm just shocked.
It is, isn't it? Isn't it amazing?
Mm-hmm.
And so
it's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, it's just and the guns are a god here. Guns are
of course.
God.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And anyone can get a gun, and pretty much any kind of gun, and do whatever you want with it. But me from I'll share something with you, and I'll be curious of what you think. I look at Sweden and I say, yeah, guess got a lot of Nazis there. In the government too, like in the government, got straight up Nazis. Like, they're like open about it. I mean, they're not stupid like that orange demon is in the White House is. About blurting stuff out too much, but pretty much, And I look at Sweden, and I say, yeah, they got that, that ridiculous, the ridiculous. Idiots out there with their racist cartoons and their racist attitudes and that housing discrimination. But I see that healthcare. I see a couple $100 out of pocket per year to just get your checkups and your specialists, maybe some procedure, university. My children can go. I don't have to pay $60,000 a year for a decent school. And I say, man, and my wife even, Sweden looks better than America. What do you think? What do you think when I tell you that?
Yeah, I do believe you. And I do think seriously people think that, and of course for me it's a shock because we are living, this is 2017, Eric. And I think that the similarity between Africa and the United States, do you know what it is?
Tell me.
It's because when you don't educate your people, it's easy to control them. Okay? And that's something that the African leaders have been doing for generations and generations and generations. They select which people they want to have a formal education, and the majority they left on the street.
Wow.
And they will be fending to survive every day, to live a life where you have to focus on getting food on the table on a daily basis.
Kind of sounds like here.
And that's the way you are controlling. That's the way you control the mass. And it's amazing because I'm telling you, I've studied 13 years. I've studied history. I've studied, medicine a bit because I'm an interpreter. I've studied a bit of this and that. And then I started to look at how history is created and how society has been created. I look at the Romans, how they finally figured out that if you have a slave, that is costing you more money than having people work for you for free and they go back home. So if you have a lot of slaves, that means that you have a lot of money because you have to feed them, right? So if you have Africans, let's just take like my country, and I'm a political family. I come from a political family. We fled for our lives. And then I went back 6 years ago, and the education level had been lowered even more than it was during the 80s. There's more poverty than I've ever seen. The riches are becoming richer, and the poorer, there's no level of boredom anymore because they have been pressed down so much that they can't rise, not with an assistance from somewhere. And so what the governments do in these countries is they keep the poorer more poor and stupid. So they fend for everyday bread. They will have to try and fight to figure out how to live on a daily basis. With that kind of problems, you don't have time to get education. You do not have time to understand what is happening on the political level. You do not have time to have bigotry with your neighbors because you have to make sure your kids have food for the day. Now, what is happening in America today? You do not have, I don't know if you have well-functioning schools. The best schools are the free schools, the one you have to pay for. That means you have to have a lot of money to send your child to school, which is a good school.
That's right.
And if you have a child that is not in a good school, that means that you're raising the low-income child, the one that will be hating everyone else because they have nothing. Every society raises their own groups of drug addicts, criminal minds, robbers, whatever sort of problems you have in a society, it's created by its own society. So you have a society where people are not well educated.
Yeah.
And the well educated know that. That's why they can control them. When the time comes, they'll run around and give them bread. You know the old Roman games where the Kaiser said, give the people bread, give the people water, or give the people wine. That's what's happening. You give them what they need at the time when they need it at the most, and they'll follow you as a god. And so it's very simple to see how Trump won, because I told my family, I said, this guy is going to win. And people say, okay, come on, Imma. I say, do you want me to write a letter? I can do that. And I'm going to tell you how and why he's going to win. And they're looking at me and say, oh, come on. Oh, come on. It's like, okay, you wait and see. He says one after the other, after the third, after the fourth, and people are growing after him and say, oh, he's fantastic. He's telling us the truth. No one has told us about this. He has told me he's going to make America great again. And when was America great? They don't remember.
Right.
But it was when everyone else who was different was suppressed. And that was the greatest time of American time. That's what we want back.
That's right. That's right.
And now what is he going to do? He's going to build a wall of solar. And we're going to make Mexico not pay for it anymore. It's going to be cheap for them for not paying for it. And they say, oh, yeah, he solved the problem. Good for him. I believe in Trump. He's going to be my new God. Do you know why it's that? Because they do not know what's real and what's not. People don't know what's real and what's not. If people don't know what's up and down, you can lie and bring out whatever you want to say and they'll believe you. You can take half of their body away and say, it's still there. It's just that I've erased it from your eyes. You can't see it. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, continue. Carry on. And then you check the next and then you erase them from, the planet and they'll still believe that you're the greatest. Mm. So your country does not give education to people because if you wanted to have the voters, the Democrats could have won. But that means that the Democrats have to work hard to make sure people understand what is happening. Education is the key to whatever problems we have on this planet today. And people know it. And Americans have never focused on education. How can you not give your people the power to know things? And I don't blame anyone. You know who I blame? I think I blame Rousseau, who brought all this way of governing a country to your country. I'm sorry, because how can you say that it's going to be the electoral that decides who is the winner? Then what's the point of having elections? Explain to me, how can people vote for one person and then 5 people say that, you know what, I have been thinking about it. I think, no, we'll choose this one instead. He seems to be the favorite. So is it going to be based on favorism or is it going to be based on the best man that won the game?
Wow.
I'm just telling you, I'm asking, these are very simple questions. Why have you not educated? I never understood what the terminology hillbilly is until I watched The Simpsons. And I said, oh, now I know. Because now the thing is that for me, every time I look at Trump, I'm thinking about the hillbillies. The people sitting in the mountain somewhere trying to shoot a rabbit. And then they listen to the radio and they hear this guy, oh, I'm going to make America great again. Oh, great. We'll take him. Oh, Cletus, can you bring me the radio? I want to listen to Trump. He's telling us the truth. But seriously, because I do not understand how people who think can go and vote for a person who says that, we're going to help you. We're going to make America great again. We're going to sell all the foreigners back to where they come from. And then you start asking, who were the foreigners in America? I thought America was built by foreigners.
Yeah.
Okay, if in Sweden, if someone tells we're sending the foreigners back, I believe him because you know what? Because we know who the Swedes are.
Wow.
But if someone tells you the same thing in America or United Kingdom, I'm going to ask them. So who is the foreigner here? Can you please show them? Just point to the foreigners, and I'll help you to push them out. I'll be helping you to push my people out. Don't worry. Just show me where they are. Because I seriously, that's why I feel, I can't defend Sweden because it's not my country. Why do I want to be the first person protesting and say that this is my country? It's not my country. I am not Swedish. I have a Swedish citizenship. But I'm black, for God's sake. This is not my country. Why would I want to fight for something that's not mine? I'm being honest here.
Yeah.
If I could, I would take all the blacks back with me to Africa and say, you know what, keep your country for yourself. But just remember, when the ice comes, do not come to my country because I will see you.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm just saying.
That next ice age, it's due, but... I'm just saying, when winter becomes too much for you guys, don't even think about coming to Uganda because I'm going to see you and I'm going to send you back. You talking about them vacationers. They go on vacation for their holiday, their summer love.
Yes. So you know what? Better stay there and enjoy your fantastic country.
Right.
Because if you send me back, I'm going back. I will be taking my family with me. I will say thank you very much for the time that you've taken care of us. Just give me my pension, and I'll be going back to my country and trying to build myself a life. but I do not want to have anything to do with any more white people.
Mm.
And imagine if there are other people thinking the same way. And they say, well, we don't want the white people.
Yeah, certainly are.
Yeah. So just leave us alone. And let's just play with this notion that we have a lot of people from all over the world in Sweden. And the majority have gotten high educations. Okay, we have studied at university. We have a lot of education years behind us. And some idiot decides to send us back to Africa or to Asia or to Turkey or wherever country we come from. And we decide that we're going back and we're going to take over the governments in these countries. Imagine the notion, imagine the know-how you're sending back to the countries which you sooner or later are going to force to work with, to collaborate with. Now imagine that you want to import bananas from a small country, because banana is part of the fruit, tradition in Sweden, and you want some bananas, and you send the banana people back to their banana country. And someone says, yeah, we're from Sweden, we would like to order 1 ton of banana. And it's like, yeah, they're finished. No more bananas. Oh, but we want our bananas. We're used to ordering our bananas. Oh, but there are no bananas left for Swedes, sorry.
I really hope that white Swedes are listening to you, but not your words as much as your heart, because you've essentially said we cannot tolerate being treated unequally.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't stop, you're going to suffer. And it's not a threat of violence at all. It is just a reality that you cannot continue to institutionalize this racism, this bigotry. You have to work with us to destroy it. And I have to ask you this. I've noticed, or I'll ask you this, is there any conscious effort on the part of the Swedish government to recruit non-white people into positions, into jobs, even police, even government, firefighters, the medical schools, all that stuff? Does that exist?
I think recruiting is something we don't do in Sweden. In Sweden, it's very important that a job that has been announced is applied for by each individual that feels that they can meet the requirements. And so I know that for a few years ago, we talked about a quotation where we tried to fill out spaces. We said that if we have something that we need to be filled, a position, we need to have 50 applicants which are women and 50 applicants which are men. And we have to have 3 men and 2 women, and so on and so on. And that sounds really good. But the problem is it's very difficult to stick to a system of following a requirement which is set out to have with the reality. Because the thing is that the result today is that I cannot say that I've met those people that they say they were going to hire many years ago as a following to the quotation where we were going to have more women in boards, more foreigners in boards, more this and that. I haven't seen it. The thing is, because I stopped watching the Swedish television 7 years ago. I turned it off. I said, this is so much shit. I'm so tired of these food programs and this garden programs and these famous people. They're the same people we see on television. On the other channels, they'll be cooking. On the first channel, they'll be taking care of someone's garden because they're expert in that as well. And they're singers. And then they're going to be out, digging for some archaeological findings because they're expert there as well. And I think to myself, I'm sure we have formally educated people who can do this, but that's not stupidity enough, because we need to make people as stupid as possible and make them want to watch the next program on how to make that fantastic meatball in 3 different ways. And we're going to have 5 famous people doing it. And we're going to listen to their fantastic voices. And then we're going to visit them in their houses, and they're going to tell us how fantastic their lives has been. And then after that, we're going to visit the 3rd person's house with these famous people.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
And I told my husband, I said, you know what, we need to turn this television, because if I don't, I'm going to throw it out of the window. This is not giving me anything.
Of course, you didn't mention
so
those strange Americans of Swedish descent that they bring in for silly little contests.
Oh, come on. I was embarrassed. I am so embarrassed. I'm like, is this really happening? Are they sending this poor guy home because he wasn't Swedish enough? Really? The poor guy had hopes to meet his family. I hope at least they sent him some contact information so he can get the contact by themselves.
Yeah, everybody gets it. Everybody gets it. Everybody who goes there gets the family tree and the contacts. That's how I got mine.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Seriously. Come on. You know, and I'm telling myself, for me, a real change is that when I go to England to visit my mother, or when I go to England to visit my cousins, do you know what I see?
Yeah.
Foreigners. Do you know where I see them? Everywhere.
You got a mayor. You got a mayor in there too.
I know. I'm watching a film and I say, oh, there's a black person, and it's not a criminal.
Right.
Oh my God, he's the main character. How did she get that job? You know?
Yeah.
And I start thinking, why am I thinking this way? She has a formal education. She got the job because she was qualified. Oh, yeah, I forgot. I'm not in Sweden. That's it. Sorry. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Wow.
And then I come back home. I'm like, you know what? I have to show them at the airport that I don't have anything to hide. I'm who I say I am. I'm going to smile, say, hello, this is me on the picture. And if they ask you something, you have to answer nicely, because otherwise they'll send you back.
Wow.
And that happens all the time. And they're saying that, well, Sweden is becoming more multicultural and we're becoming more blah, blah, blah. And I say, yeah, sure. If you think so, why not? Sure,
well,
I agree.
Is such a deep discussion.
It is. And you know, I have been living with this for so many years, and I'm sorry to have to pour it over, you know, sometimes. But it's really difficult.
Well, I had a list of questions to ask you. I don't need to ask any of them, because you just took control of this show, and I'm glad. You know, I'm really glad to hear what you have to say.
It's really sad. Thank you.
And I'm hoping it helps you. And I hope when you finish the book, you know, when you get to, you know, even read it again, that maybe you'll see something deep that I'm trying to accomplish. Being a person
I'm hoping so too.
Yeah, you know, I'm a person of Sweden and Africa, you know, and of Europe and Africa. So I feel obligated to try to vindicate certain good aspects of each, and but especially to have reverence for, you know, Africa, because that is our mother and our father, you know, and the indigenous people carry that through, and so I want to. You'll see when I open the graphic novel, you'll see that first picture of Badin, and I call him Sweden's Black Prince. And you know, I'm not doing that so much for us, you know, black Swedes, as much as I'm doing it for the white Swedes, because it's the truth. You know, he was adopted and he was raised as one of the royal children, and you know, you don't baptize and give the names of the royal house to a slave or a butler or a servant. You know,
No,
a
no.
slave does not become a Freemason in the 18th century and own property, you know, and leave his wife wealth, you know. So for 200 years they slandered him, kind of like they slander you, you know. Be quiet, don't say nothing. You're no good, you know. And I hate it. And so it's my hope that maybe some will listen, especially the younger ones, and pay attention. You
Yeah.
know.
The one thing I thought about when I was reading the book is that there is going to be a transformation, and it might take some time, you know, when they understand that this has occurred and this has been a reality in the Swedish society. And there will come a point when someone will say, you know what, we need to take this back. We need to make this as part of our Swedish history.
Yes.
And that will somehow make it okay for them to say, yeah, you're right, Eric, we did have a black prince. And we should be grateful that someone has told us about this. And look at how great we are because we were so acceptance already. So there is a risk, you know, it might take some time, but they'll say, you know what, we can use this for a benefit. We can turn this around and make it a good thing for Sweden.
Yes.
Because then we'll show people that we are not what they think we are.
That's right.
You know?
And at least
so,
you can look back from the UK or America, wherever you might be, and say, "See, I knew it."
I'll call you and say, "Did I tell you so?
Yeah.
Did I tell you so?" Yeah, it's amazing.
I think you were in a thought, and I interrupted you, and I apologize.
No. I wasn't. I was just thinking about, you know, when I was reading the book, the first pages, I'm like, "Oh, this is not going to go well. He's black." I'm sorry. We all know that it never happens. It never goes well for non-whites, you know. So yeah, I'm just hoping that I'll get something positive in the end, and I'll tell people about it. Say, you know what? Do you know that we did have black people in Sweden like a long time ago?
A long time ago,
yeah, a long time.
Well, without,
and then, you know, because we have.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, because, you know, Sweden had its own colonies as well on an island.
That's right.
And that's something we don't talk about very much. Actually, we don't talk about it at all.
That's right.
And I remember
it has to be done.
It has to be done, and we have to know about what they did. Because Sweden has everything is very fantastic here. Everything is white. We don't have any black spots on the white paper because the Swedish culture doesn't allow it to be there. And we need to know that in Sweden we had slaves, even if they were not in Sweden. They treated slave in a bad way. They mistreated people, and it has to be presented, but it doesn't, because I know that we had, I think it was 10 years ago or something, or even less, and this island, I don't even remember the island, and it turned, I think, 300 years or four, I don't remember, something like that. Mm-hmm. It was a small news edited. It wasn't even five sentences. They just mentioned it like that. Mm-hmm. I think it was Sant Bartolomeus or something. I don't remember.
Bartholomew. But yeah,
mm-hmm.
It's one of the in its capital. Its capital is called Gustavia.
Yeah.
After Gustav III.
And you know, I was so surprised, and I said, "How is this possible? They don't even. It's not a big. They didn't even mention it in the on television, or it was just in the daily news." Because I read the newspaper, that means I got to know about it. Even if I did study history a long time ago at university, I remember we talked very briefly about it. But it was mentioned just as, oh, by the way, but no details, you know? And then I'm like, what, wait, did we miss something here? I need to check on this a bit more. And then I found out, I'm like, what? No way. And I was hoping that we'll go through it, but nothing happened. And they just mentioned a few sentences in the newspaper. Oh, this is 300 years ago that Sweden owned this island. And then nothing came out of it. It was quiet.
It's It is, and it never ceases to amaze me when I found out that there are Saami people in the south, in the southern half of Sweden, and they were there for a very long time, and how they've been erased from the culture. And when I talk to Swedes, sometimes they say, "What? I thought all the Sami were way up north." I said, "No, man. People go up north because they want to get the heck out of there because they're being oppressed." You know, and they're like, "Well, they never taught me that in school." Like,
no.
In the United States,
not.
we learned about slavery, we learned about Native Americans, the straight up genocide here that went on. And I thought, well, Sweden's got a little growing up to do. Yeah.
And it's not going to happen. It will never happen because people are not interested. They're busy buying new kitchens and interior decoration. And they don't have time for knowledge.
My tour, God willing, will be a knock on the door, you know, and sometimes all you need is a knock.
Oh, yeah.
They might ignore it.
Of course.
They may say, "Oh, you know, I'm Swedish, I'm shy, I'm not, whatever. I'm not, you know, no one should bother me." Fine, but I'm going to knock, you know. And
and it's good that the book is in English because, well, I think that you should translate it in other languages, actually, because if you made it in Arabic, because we have a big population of Arabic speakers, and you have the Jewish community, which has their language because it's also a national language, and Meänkieli, Finnish, the Finnish population in Sweden. I mean, they can't ignore it because the thing is that someone has to read it, and someone will read it, and someone has to say, "You know what is this? I mean, is this true?" Especially if you write it for younger kids, and they'll ask their mummy and say, "Mummy, did you know this?" Like, what? Yeah, because my teacher said that we had a black prince once. Then they will have to explain themselves. That's
right. And you know, those languages, having it in these languages, I really want to do it. And I hope that when I go there on this tour, I'll be able to find people that will help me get the funding needed, you know, because I've been a one-man show, and it's so hard, you know. It is to get support, you know. But thanks to you starting me off here with this first podcast.
You're welcome.
We're going to get a little more boost of attention, and I'm going to break yours
I think
up.
So too.
This is we're going to make this. You know, I can make 2 out of this one.
Yeah. Well, just tell me if you need anything else. I have friends. If you need to interview any other, friends and
refer whatever in Facebook if you want to refer. You know, send whatever names to me or
I will.
Please.
I will refer them. I'm going to finish the book. I'm thinking of buying a few and then just send them off to friends.
Oh, I would love. Thank you so much. And by the way, no spoilers. It's a wonderful ending. No spoilers.
No.
It's a wonderful ending.
Good.
Badin, in fact, when you're done, you're like, "What? Can we have more? Can we have more? Can we have another one?" You know, you're gonna really be excited. Badin I wanted to make him into a mythological figure.
Yeah.
And you know, mythological figures are gods. You know, they're perfect. They just that's what I've done, you know, with him.
Good.
We need it.
We need that.
Yes.
Yeah, we need someone who others can look up to, not only the blonde kids, you know.
Yep.
And that's why I was thinking of starting to write children's book, because I have a friend who also illustrates.
Oh.
And I've written a few stories which she started to illustrate, and I haven't just gotten more because I've had so much I have to provide for myself.
Yes,
I have to put food on my table.
Yes.
So I can't become a revolution until I can get food on my table. And so I think that's why I think that it's very important that we have someone who represents something different. You know, someone that represents something that I, as a foreign woman, African, can relate to.
Yes. Well, that's wonderful. And I'm so glad to hear that you at least have something that you are working on, even though it's kind of stretched out now because life. But please do finish though what you've started.
Yeah.
You know.
Absolutely, I will. And I'm hoping that, when you do get to Sweden, do not be shy to get in contact with me because we need to meet. You can't avoid me.
No, in Stockholm, I'm going to be at that Black History Week thing at the Museum of Ethnography. So I'm going to be locked into Stockholm for at least a week.
Okay, good.
And so I really want to meet you and just so many other great Swedes out there.
Yeah.
And when I say Swedes, by the way, I think of you. So
okay.
You should see my Facebook feed.
You
should see my Facebook feed. It says friends, right? And whenever I type in Sweden or Stockholm, it's almost all black people.
Oh, that's generous of you. Did you put them in that box?
No, it's just because I don't have a whole lot of white Swedish friends like you. I scare them. In fact, my relatives there in Sweden who we met, they don't even respond to me anymore. Once I told them about this black prince, I think I scared them.
Yeah, you did, because someone might relate them to you, and that's just not good.
Yeah.
They'll look at him, it's like, wow, this is what you brought to Sweden, huh?
Yeah.
So this is...
Well,
Someone is questioning us.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, sister, it's just been a great honor to speak with you.
I'm very thankful for listening to me. I'm sorry I rattled a lot.
I loved it.
I can't help it.
I didn't have to say anything, and that made me happy.
This is just a premonition of me becoming a cat lady, so that you know it. That in a few years I'll be having like 20 cats, and I'll be talking, and people will saying, don't pay any attention. She's a bit crazy.
Yeah.
Have you seen about cats? Yes.
Well,
You'll eat her up when she dies.
You keep it up. I'm happy, and them people that say that they probably really like you, but they just feel like when you are saying it that it makes them want to speak up too, and that makes them uncomfortable with themselves. So really, what people like you and I do is we actually are leaders. And the thing they're uncomfortable with, it's like me as a Muslim, when I'm around and they know I don't drink. I mean, I'm a Muslim that don't drink. I know there's Muslims that drink, but I'm a Muslim and I don't drink. I don't. I refuse. And so whenever I'm with them, they're like, oh, I'm sorry. I got this beer in my hand. I'm like, it's all right, man. Don't worry about it. And so I just make them uncomfortable just because I'm being righteous. And so you're being righteous, and you just making them uncomfortable. That's all.
Yeah, I know. It's unfortunate. Sometimes I ask the Lord why did you make me this? I just wanted to be like everyone else.
Nope.
Why couldn't you have just made me?
No.
No,
it's like me too. Me too. I went so broke doing this book, and now when I told my wife I got to do this tour, she's like, why don't you just stay for the week? I'm like, honey, I'm gonna have to load up.
Not enough.
I'm gonna have to load up this credit card, and we're never in debt. Never are we in debt. And she was angry with me, and I said, "But this GoFundMe. If this GoFundMe's successful, we'll pay it off." And she's like, "Oh my God."
And if it doesn't.
Yeah, right. If it doesn't, so this is crazy. But
I'll divorce you.
Yeah. But I'm born to do it.
Yeah.
I feel I'm born to do this. Man, Badin, I was born for this man. I just feel it. I feel there's nobody out there. All the men who came before me that researched him, and women, they passed the mantle to me. They're like, okay, well, go ahead and do it. Go ahead. All right, here I go.
You know what? Someone else has to fail, and you're the next.
Yeah. My God, you're right.
But it's a good thing because you'll be one of the failed ones.
Lordy. Well, my friend.
You'll be the one that breaks this tradition of failure.
Yeah. My friend, she's a Saami historian, so she teaches it, and teaches Saami history. And she told me, she said,
Mm-hmm.
Eric, I think your book is a sleeper hit. And I said, what's that mean? And she says, it's going to be a hit, but not right away. I said, well, I hope it happens before I die. When I'm not asleep
And that's
permanently.
what I just said. It's going to take time before they realize it. But when someone needs to refer to it, to refer to the greatness of Sweden, they'll use the book as a reference to say, it's not true. We're not that racist. We have a book about our prince.
That's right. See?
You know?
See?
You see?
Yep.
We can prove that we've also been blacks once, and therefore you can't call us racist.
Right. And Emma will be there and say, yep.
I told you.
I
I told you.
Like many black Swedes, Imma is under tremendous pressure to capitulate, assimilate, and be passive. Even though it depresses her and sometimes she just wants to be quiet, she still chooses her battles. Like Badin, she is an unsung hero. She taught many children, raised her own family, and runs a business. She is strong, extremely intelligent, and brave. Sweden should be proud to have citizens such as Imma. You've been listening to part 2 of that interview with Imma, a Swedish interpreter and business owner. Subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss the next podcast. All social networking links and more information can be found at www.badinsecret.com. That's BADINSECRET.com. Last but not least, support the October book tour in Sweden. Eric, that's me. I need to raise $14,000 to order books and pay for travel expenses throughout the entire month. Every contribution will get the backer a free digital PDF edition of Badin and the Secret of the Saami. For more information, to see other rewards, go to gofundme.com/BadinSecret. The Badin and the Secret of the Saami podcast is produced and edited by me, Eric Basir. Theme music by Shamis Hasanov. Be something greater than yourself.